Hello guys, hello replay viewers, thanks so much for being here tonight, and thank you Catch viewers for being here as well. If you were watching the recorded video on Catch, feel free to join me live every night at 9:30 p.m. Central on Periscope. My username is Penguin and Fish. Thanks again guys for watching. I see y'all popping in. Look, we are continuing the paper piecing today. I kind of threw these two guys here together just so I can kind of get a sense of how it might start to look with that the little X going through it with the green. So we are going to make more of these guys tonight. All right, I'm going to flip you around and we'll keep going. You loving this block? Oh, hey Harry. Oh, you're still awake. Great. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. So we are going to make more of these little blocks tonight. This is block 15 of the Splendid Sampler. If you don't know what the Splendid Sampler is, go to thesplendidsampler.com. It is a mystery quilt along. Oh, you should try it. You'll like it, I think, when you get going. It's a mystery block quilt along. We get a new block every Thursday and Sunday, and this is block 15. There's 100 in all, so there's still plenty of time to join, you guys. It's thesplendidsampler.com, and it's free, so that's awesome, right? So we are paper piecing, which looks really frightening and scary, but once you get going, it is so wonderful. I love it because you can cut giant blobs of a shape without measuring or anything, and you don't have to worry about your seam allowance. You just sew right on the line, like you're staying in the lines of a coloring book. There's no thinking involved once you have the system down, and that's what's really just relaxing about it. Oh, you finished yours today. Oh, that's awesome. That's so good. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get pretty far today. We did these first two on 2 days ago, and then we did each of them individually. So if you can see on the back, it goes in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one of the blocks or little pieces is similar to this. And we did these two separately, where we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we did this one, the 1, 2, 3, 4. And then last night we decided to do it assembly line style. So we got all the rest of them. There's 8 total, and we're doing 6 here. All the rest of the 6, we've got pieces 1 and 2 on there. See, giant blobs that we didn't measure at all. So I'm going to try and get 3 and 4 done tonight. And if you guys want to check out the first ones, just so you can get a sense of what we're doing here, and you'll probably figure it out as we go, but I explained it probably a little bit more a couple days ago. All my videos are at katch.me/penguin and fish. And if you're new here, my name's Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we create lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery and a fabric designer as well, and I'm lucky enough that I got to be part of the Splendid Sampler. My block was block 11 with the embroidery crocheted block on there, which I'm still not done with. I may do a special Periscope session on Saturday where I just embroider it all afternoon. And I have to finish the seagull block as well. So we might add a special Periscope in besides my evening scopes just to get those 2 done, because I don't know, I'm in the mood to get things done and they're sitting there still. Oh, you embroidered a mason jar. That's so cute. All right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. Again, we're going to continue. Hopefully I'm going to get the other 2 pieces on the rest of these guys today. We're paper piecing. All right, let me know what you guys are working on tonight. I love to hear what's going on with you guys. Flipping you around. Okay, here we are. So I don't need this fabric. This is going to be my cross fabric that goes in between the blocks when we're done. So what we're doing now is we're making all these edges here, and then doing this inside strip later. Hold on, guys, my radio went off. Pandora, where'd you go? Let's get that going again. Okay, so this is gonna be that cross, and so I don't need that quite yet. We're gonna finish all of these blocks first. All right, so they are gonna look like this when we're done. Oh, you're doing a cross stitch along. Oh, that's cool. So we'll just throw those up there for now. There we go. There's the music back again. Okay, so let's just grab the top and get going. we'll just put these in a little stack here. We're doing it assembly line style today. So, all right, we did 1 and 2, so the next part is 3. And we need a piece of fabric that's gonna cover 3, the shape of 3, plus 3's seam allowance. And we're gonna do it generously, like, you know, here's my piece for number 2, and it's clearly way bigger than it needs to be, but that's okay. Oh, but you know what? Before we're gonna do that, here is my awesome trick, which I just love, to get a perfect seam allowance as we go. So we did 1 and 2, and we're gonna do 3. Oh, it's my postcard. I'm gonna use a postcard for this. I'll show you in a sec here. So we are gonna sew 3 next. So we need to sew in between 3 and the parts that are already done. So we're gonna sew along this line here, but first we're gonna get a perfect seam allowance there. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take a postcard. Here's my cute little postcard. If you guys have an index card, or you know, if you check your mail, there's probably a postcard sitting in there, junk mail or something. Grab a stiff piece of paper like this and put it along that line that we'll eventually sew on. So again, we're sewing in between 3 and what we have done already, 1 and 2. So I'm gonna just put it right along that line. And I'm gonna fold my entire paper up the entire length of that line. Like that. So we got a good fold right there like that. So now this is where we cut our seam allowance. So grab your ruler, and at the 1/4 inch mark, put your 1/4 inch mark right on the fold. There we go, it's right on the fold here, and we're gonna trim all this excess off. And this is all the excess from our blobs of fabric that we're just randomly cutting, basically, to be big enough. These are just our scraps now, and I'm gonna use my scraps later in the Splendid Sampler project, so I'm not too worried about having big scraps. And really, when you're paper piecing, you wanna err on the side of being bigger, because you can't go back if it's smaller, or not easily, so you definitely wanna err on the side of it being big. But look, now we have a perfect seam allowance for that line, which is kinda awesome. So you know what, I think I'm gonna go, since we're doing this assembly line, I'm gonna go do that for every single one of these quick. We'll try and speed demon this thing. So again, in between 3 and then the other 2 parts. Right on that line. And again, you guys can watch replays and stuff at Catch. It's katch.me/penguinandfish. And I'm doing all the blocks there. It's been kind of a fun process for me, just to play around and experiment, and I'm trying to, I mean, I feel like I learn something new with every block, which is kind of crazy and fun. All right. So let me know what else you guys are working on tonight. That quilt along sounds like fun. All right, so one thing you want to remember is you don't want to cut off the wrong side of the seam allowance. So we're gonna cut on the side where we're headed. So we've done 1 and 2, so we don't want to cut our seam allowance there. We want to remember that, oh yeah, we're on 3, let's cut that seam allowance. And you won't really mess that up. The only place you could is between 1 and 2, but I mean, like, here we got it's sewn together, so you're not going to make that mistake there. So all right, here is that piece. Again, we'll go right on the line here. Snip all of this off. Alrighty. So you can see we got some reverse pieces. We got template B and template A. That's why we got the reverse of each other going here, if you notice that. Alright, it is totally my goal to get through these paper pieced parts tonight, because if we can do that, then I think tomorrow on Wednesday, I think we may actually be able to finish this block, which would be awesome, because Thursday we get a new block, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I don't know if there's been any sneak peeks or anything for it yet, so I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. All right, on the line. So I'm gonna try and speed through this, but if you see me doing something wrong, like out of sequence, or I'm gonna cut the wrong thing, scream out, so I don't accidentally cut something wrong. You know, just because I'm trying to. Oops, that's not right. Just because I'm trying to go quickly. Here, let me try and go up higher so you guys can see. It's kind of fun doing this assembly line style. I've never done that with paper piecing before. And, you know, I thought I'd get confused and I'd get lost. But it's actually helpful because, you know, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And it's kind of just enhancing each section instead of making me forget. So that's been kind of fun so far. All right, last one it looks like. But this whole postcard thing of doing this makes this process so easy. Made 2-piece block today. Oh, awesome. Oh, you're still working on the crocheted thoughts. Yeah, me too. Like I was saying, I think I might do a special Periscope Saturday afternoon just to sit down until I have the rest of the blocks finished so I can still do it here with you guys. But yeah, I'm having one of those days, you know, where you feel like you're falling behind and stuff, and it's not because of the Splendid Sampler, it's just because of just work stuff. Like I feel like the balls are starting to fly around in the air and I'm not holding on to them anymore, and so I need to just make my lists again and reassess it. And you know what? Getting the rest of the Splendid Sampler blocks done, I need 14 and number 11 are still not done yet. Getting those done will make me feel like I've done something, so that might be my Saturday, guys. All right, so next, let's see, number 3 is this blue color, which we got here. So what we're gonna do, oh, you're thinking about doing the butterflies. Oh, for the bonus project. Yeah, you know what? Oh, to practice more paper piecing. Oh, is the butterflies paper piecing too? I haven't looked too far into the bonus projects yet, and I'd like to soon. All right, so again, we need a piece of fabric that is gonna be as big as our number 3 plus a healthy seam allowance. So I think this piece might work. So what we're gonna do is test it. So we just did this straight edge here for our seam allowance. I'm gonna put a straight edge of this piece along the straight edge of the piece that we just did. And then to test it, oops, you know what? I moved it around all over. Let's try that again. There we go. To test it, I'm gonna pin as if we've already sewn it along that line. So I'm gonna grab, I think we'll just do a 1 pin here. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend that I sewed along that line. I'm gonna flip it over and again, pretend I've sewn and flipped it around. And now we gotta ask, so did we cover that block and our seam allowance? And we totally did. So look, we got enough space down here, all the way around, we're good. So this one is good to go. And you know what? I think I'm gonna pin all the rest of them like this too. So this, because we're doing assembly line style again, so we know this one's good. Let's keep going. All right. So I got another little scrap here that I think we can use. Let's see if that works. Sometimes it could be tricky doing these triangles on an angle like this, but that's why we're testing, just to double check. And these pieces are pretty big, and it's because it makes it a whole lot easier, a whole lot less thinking involved. All right. And this fabric's kind of fun because there's no right or wrong side, so that makes it even easier. Oh, and we're putting right sides together in general here too. And again, if this is your first night watching the paper pieced, I would go back to catch.me/penguinandfish to watch a couple nights ago because we really dig into it a little bit more. Okay, here is our test again. As if we're sewing along that line. All right, and again, I think we're pretty good here. New to Periscope, Pet shared one of my 2 number 15 blocks a day. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, I'll have to, I'm just having so much fun looking at everyone's blocks and feeds and stuff. You know, I could move this down a little, but I think we're fine. I think we're gonna be covered there, so I'm gonna just move on. All right, now we gotta cut some pieces here again for these other 4. Yeah, has anyone else finished this block? Everybody concentrating on what they're doing. I know, not much talking today. I know it's kind of weird, isn't it? But that's okay too. I know a lot of people, when I watch Periscopes and stuff, I'm usually like folding laundry or doing something else, so I can't type all the time. All right, so again, we need a piece that will cover this. Oh, you did yesterday. So I'm gonna just cut like a few blobs out of this. I got this kind of thing here going. Let's just cut one of you. Oh, one of yours went in the garbage. Oh no! Were you did you cut your pieces too small? I think that's kind of in my head. That's usually, I think, probably what happens to most people is they just cut the pieces too small, and you really want to err on the side of bigger because it's a whole lot easier to trim stuff down than it is to start from scratch because the piece ended up being too small. Okay, again, we're gonna go right on our straight edge here. And I'm gonna test all of these. Sometimes I don't test them when I know for sure, but since these are triangles, which make them flip at a funny angle, which requires way more thinking than I wanna do in the evening, I'm doing the testing of it. Hi, thanks for coming in. All right, so again, putting a pin as if I'm sewing right on that line. It's our like little fake sewing test, and it'd probably actually be better if I did 2. Oh, I think there was too much seam allowance at the very end, and the cross is crooked. Oh, that's a bummer. All right, so we are definitely covered here again. This piece is huge. We probably didn't need a piece that big, but that's okay. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna use all these pieces when I'm done. Hello! But yeah, it's been fun playing around with this block, I think. I really like doing paper piecing after a while. Hey Laverne, hello! After doing other piecing, because it really is, after you get the system down, like you get the cutting the seam allowance and you get the, you practice this little fold over to see if it fits. I mean, after you get the system down, it's so relaxing because you really don't have to think. The lines and the shape do everything for you. All you have to do is make your piece big enough, really, and remember to put right sides together and stuff like that. So this piece looks good. I mean, we clearly have a lot here, but again, I'm okay with that. All right, we got a couple this little blob. I wonder if this will, let's cut this piece off, see if this will do. All right, we got 2 more. We are working on block 15 of the Splendid Sampler. So it's this crazy paper piece block right here. So we're working on all these segments for it. And you can find out more information at thesplendidsampler.com. It's a mystery quilt along. Oh, you love paper piecing? Yeah, I'm kind of a new convert to it. I had done it once a while ago and really liked it, but then I found this trick with the postcard and stuff to do this, and now I'm like way in love with it. I did a project before the Splendid Sampler that was all paper piecing and teeny tiny. Like the finished piece was like a small hexagon, and I had like a tiny little star in there. I mean, that was crazy, but so fun still. Paper piecing is kind of magic because you, I'm going to do a test for this one too. I think this one might be too small. But it's just, the intricacies of the design that you can get are just fascinating, and it's perfect every single time, which is fun. You know what? I think I prefer small paper piecing as well, just from that last project that I did, and that's all on Catch as well. But I mean, like, that was so fun. You know what? I think I have just enough here, and I'm gonna risk it. I think we're fine. You know, this seam allowance in theory extends to here, but I think we're gonna let it be. That piece is probably a hair small, but I think we're still in like the green zone or something. All right, let's see, where should I cut the next one? Maybe just do another chunk off of here. So this is the last piece, and then I don't need this fabric anymore. Oh, you brought Fabris. Oh, instead of the sticky Fabri-Salvi. Oh, it can be so confusing. Paper pieced it on. Oh, and then dissolved it. Oh, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of a neat idea. Then you don't have to tear the paper off at all. That'd be kind of fun to try. All right, here's the last piece. Throw that on there. Oops, I think I just moved it around. Nope, we're fine. Again, I'm just lining up seam allowances again. I like doing this assembly style. So we'll get these sewn, and hopefully we'll get number 4 on tonight too. I'm really trying to get through these. So if I'm going too fast, let me know. But also, again, you can watch the replays of last night and the night before. Might try this because I hate taking the paper off. What might make, I don't know how you do your paper piecing, but if you remember to do the stitch length less. So I've done a really kind of tiny stitch length. It's a lot smaller than I usually go. Then it's a little easier to tear the paper off. But yeah, if you can just melt the paper off with some Fabri-Salvi, that ain't bad. That sounds like fun. All right, on to the sewing machine, guys. First time I did paper piecing, I used batik, so I didn't have to worry about right side of the fabric. Oh, that's so awesome. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about this fabric here. I don't have to worry about that either, which, comes in handy, I suppose. All right, so I'm gonna take my pin out now, because I don't need it anymore. I just have to hold it in place. So I'm only gonna sew, so again, we're sewing number 3. Let me get that in focus for you guys. Hold on. There. Okay. So we're sewing number 3 to the parts that we've done already, which is 1, 2. So we are going to sew exactly on this line. We're actually going to sew into the seam allowance. Oh, small stitch length made it too dang hard to rip out. Oh, funny. Oh, okay. It should be the other way around, I would think, because it's perforating it more. But we're going to sew from the seam allowance along this line, and then we're going to stop before, like right when we hit this line here. We don't want to extend past into number 4. We just want to stop right there. And I'm going to stay stitch or back tack at both parts. Oh, to rip stitches out. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep, that would definitely be a little more difficult, I'm thinking. Yeah, was your paper or was your fabric too small? Is that why you had to rip your stitches out? That would be a reason. Run a pattern tracing wheel over the seam lines. Oh, that perforates it before stitching. Yeah, I mean the stitching kind of does the perforating for you. You're making all the little holes, so I don't know. That's been working okay for me. I'm just using normal printer paper too. All right, so I'm going to turn that off so it's not so bright for you guys. All right, and then I am going to. Oh, so here you can see. I sewed in the seam allowance and then along the line and then a little back tacking right there. Oh, you cut to her measurements instead of the blobs. Oh, yeah, you know what? When I'm paper piecing, I always just cut giant blobs. And yeah, I do have a few scraps, but again, I'm going to play around with these little scraps for the rest of the Splendid Sampler. I'd rather make sure that my guys are big enough. If you're, technically, you should just be able to cut a piece of fabric that's this big plus the seam allowance, which, is like this big. And technically, you should be able to flip it and place it just right, but it has to be just right. And that's so difficult to do that it's way easier to cut big blobs. And frankly, that's what makes it relaxing. Blobs drive some people crazy. Oh, well, that's why it's so fun to do this seam allowance thing, because my seam allowances are still perfect the whole entire time. So when I'm done, it's still perfect. My blobs went away, and if you peek at my seam allowances under here, they're all perfect. So, I still have that satisfaction of a super clean, nice piece, even with doing the blobs, and that's what I think is kind of magic about it. So I kind of dig it. So I'm trimming the little bits as I go here on both sides. You agree? Yeah, I mean, honestly, this kind of relates to hand-done work to me, which is where I can just zone out and relax a little bit more than normal like patchwork piecing. Oh, I forgot, you know what? I have all of these ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna just sew, I'm gonna sew all three. Oh yeah, so here, if I flip it open, there's gonna be 1, 2, and 3, and we will press that. I mean, it still looks crazy, but again, once it's cut down, this is what we'll get right here. And then we have 4 that cuts across the whole thing, but I'm gonna sew all of them along that 3 line first. Then we'll press them all, and then we will start with number 4. So again, I'm just gonna pull the pin out and hold it in place. Turn on the machine. All right, so I'm gonna do in the seam allowance. I'm gonna do a little back tack, or just go reverse for a couple stitches. Going exactly along that line, and then back tacking when I reach where it intersects with the next square. All right, and trim that, and then I'm gonna trim off my little bits right away. If I can grab it, jeez, there we go. This is really helpful to trim this right away, then you don't have all these strings everywhere, which can get crazy. All right, so again, here we went in the seam allowance exactly on that line and stopping right there. You know, which is exactly what we did with in between 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 was here, stopping there. 3 crosses both of those and then stops there. 4 will cross all 3. Yep, so open that one up again. Let's keep going with these. This one moved around a little hair, it looks like. Okay. Oops. So this one is one of the reverse ones. So I'm going to start at the tip and go into the seam allowance that way. I suppose I need to turn that on. Last night I turned my machine off so we could see like I've been doing, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't sew the next block. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my machine? And I had just turned it off, so. All right. And then the other super relaxing thing about paper piecing that I like too is I don't have to worry about my scant 1/4 inch. Like the scant 1/4 inch that I've been trying to work on this whole Splendid Sampler, and I still feel like I don't have that quite perfect, and the sewing in the straight lines and all that. I don't have to worry about any of that because I just stitch along this line. It's all freaking drawn out for me right away, and oh, to not have to deal with that. Like I was saying the other night that I've been so quiet during my sewing part lately because I've been so focused on that that scant 1/4 inch that, you know, I have to, and sewing straight. Like apparently I don't sew straight, so so I'm loving this paper piecing stuff. And I paper pieced the quilt shop block too, because I just didn't want to. It came with a paper piecing option, and I didn't feel like cutting out all those pieces, so I paper pieced that one too. Oh, hey, Carl. Snip. But yeah, hopefully we can get all of 4 done tonight. Man, it's already 10, guys. This is time's going fast. So, but I'm gonna still try and get all of 4 done. Yeah, all these little pieces, you know, still take a while to do. You're almost done with this block? Awesome, Ashley. That's great. I think I got today and tomorrow if I'm lucky. But that's the plan. That's pending I can get 4 done today too, and hopefully get the rest of the strip part for the center done tomorrow and Wednesday. Otherwise, this will be another unfinished one that we got around yet. I'm still working on, like I said, 11, which is my block, which is the crocheted thoughts block with all the embroidery. So I don't think I'm even halfway done with all that embroidery, and new blocks keep coming, so I keep stopping it. Just checking my stitches to see if they're okay yet. Yeah, I think we're fine. All right, one more. Pin out of there. All right, last one, and then we will press. I made 2 of your block. Holy cow! That's impressive. Oh, I think you emailed me today, right? I think you told me that in your email. That's like way impressive. Yeah, I still think, I don't know, I thought of this evening, and I'm like, you know what, I should just have a sit down to get those done. So I might on Saturday afternoon just do a Periscope as long as it takes to get that block done, which will probably be several hours. So I don't know. Are you guys up for a couple hour long Periscope while you do laundry or something during the day? I might just, yeah, do a marathon scope to get that thing done. Just so I can have the sense of being caught up on something, really. Oh, you're on holiday, so plenty of time. Oh, you betcha. Oh, funny. Okay, well, I think that might be on the docket, because like I was saying, I really need to feel like I got a bunch of stuff done, and that would make me feel like I got stuff done. All right, we are ready to press, guys. Okay, so one of the things that I learned 2 days ago pressing, oh, you have the day off, oh, that's awesome, is to not, what you don't want to do is press on the side that has all your printing, because the printing will come off on your iron. I had to wipe my iron off a bunch of times, and then I'm like, oh, it's because I'm ironing the printing side. So what you want to do instead is just press on the other side here. So I'm going to just give it a little press. My little blobs. I think I got to wake up the... Yeah, come on, iron, wake up. It likes falling asleep if I let it sit too long. There we go. Now it's talking to me. Let the boat sail off into the sunset. All right, here we are. I'm finger pressing it because we're really only sewn this far, so I'm just finger pressing it to help all these edges along a little bit. Oops, there we go. Get that nice and flat. Wow, it's slipping around on me. All right, so we will press all 6 of these, and then we're on to number 4. There we go. See, now it's starting to look like our piece here. All right, let's keep going. Give this a little press here. But I so love working with the blobs. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe don't like working with the blobs as much, but I don't know. I think it's just magic when the blob becomes a perfect being with perfect seam allowance. It's just too fun not to love it. Yes, it looks like a mess right up to the end, and then you realize, oh my god, every single seam allowance is perfect. Every single corner matches up perfect. It really is magic. I love things like that where it looks, you know, where while you're working on it, you can kind of be sloppy, but still everything is super precise. I don't know. I find that just really comforting and relaxing. It's magic. It's what it is. It's just magic. I know, you're right, like, oh, there it is, exactly. I can do blobs. Yep, all you need is blobs that are big enough and you're good to go. I like it. And to do, like, I think doing teeny tiny ones is actually probably easier because you can use smaller scraps and yeah, you're not messing with really large floppy pieces of fabric. I mean, the smaller the better. And we did do that project. You can see that project on Catch, but if you go on Instagram to @Lilla_Louise, she designs the teeniest paper piecing patterns, and they're just so fun. So that's definitely, if you're into the paper piecing now after doing this project and want something even smaller but super cute, I'd totally go check it out. Easier to hold and manipulate. Yeah, exactly. It's just really is easy, and that you can just use your tiniest of scraps is just so fun. Oh, she did the butterflies, Janelle. Oh, okay. So, all right. I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, are they on the little hexies too? She does, you know, English paper piecing, which is, you know, what everyone likes doing is those little hexies is one form of, and they're about this big, like 1-inch hexies. She, within the 1-inch hexies, you know, so this tiny, like as tiny as my thumbnail there, does like little narwhal whales and butterflies and stars, and it's just crazy town. But again, they're really easy to do. I think it's even easier than this, just because this is a little bit bigger, but oh my gosh, so cute. Her company is called Tiny Toffee Designs, and you can, I think that's her Etsy shop, so Tiny Toffee Designs. All right, we're done there. Time to move on, people. We are going to do the postcard seam allowance thing again, which is the magical part. All right, let's turn this down. I love the watercolor looking fabric. I know this is some of my favorite fabric. Look at, there's even little animals in there. And I cut into it. They were in fat quarters on my shelf since 2010. And it was just too pretty. This and a bunch of the other fabrics, I'm going to use them in the Splendid Sampler here, but this and a bunch of the other fabrics from the same collection, I just couldn't open from the fat quarter bundle because it was too pretty. But I sucked it up and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start using my stuff. And I decided that I would use it for the Splendid Sampler, and I'm so happy I did. It is so fun to play with and actually use. It's more fun to use and have it be pretty and get to touch it and look at it and make something out of it than it is in the pretty fat quarter bundle, which is still was pretty cool having that just as a fat quarter bundle. But yeah, I'm definitely converted to the let's make stuff out of our pretty fabric instead of just look at the pretty fabric, which I know sounds ridiculous, but that's the way it is. All right, so again, I'm just folding along that number 4 line now, because now we're doing number 4, which is in between 4 and everything else that we did in this section. So 1, 2, 3 against the 4. So we're folding all the way along that line, and that's to get our magical seam allowance again. See, this is the part where the blobs are amazing. You just line up that 1/4 inch along that fold and zip it off. But you can't cut and keep at the same time. Can't cut and keep. Oh, I can't cut and talk at the same time. That's for sure. I'm fairly certain there's magic involved in this somehow. Exactly, Cora. I am so with you, and that is why it is so dang fun. And it's relaxing. I mean, that's where the magic is. The magic is I can do intricate stuff without any work, really. All right, so I'm gonna make, here, let's scooch these guys out of the way. We'll make a little pile of stuff here. Okay. Again, we are going on right on that line. Oop, on the number 4 line. Between 4 and everything else, that's where. And the postcard is just a nice straight edge to help you fold. It's a way easier than to try and fold it without. You have a precious stash too, but quilts are the perfect way to preserve them. That is true, Gina. There you go. That's great. I'm converting to that way of thinking for sure. Not that I'm actually making more quilts and that sort of thing. It's definitely, I'm with you. But wow, that took a long time for me to open up to that, I guess, would be the way of saying it. See, perfect freaking seam allowances. It's totally magic. I love it. All right. Zoop. Zoop. Keep losing my postcard. All right, along the number 4 line again. And I do kind of like this assembly way of doing it. Like I was saying earlier, I can just focus on the one thing over and over again, which helps me actually remember the process even more. When I was doing the other way, to do all of it all at once, the one block, or one segment, I guess, section, it was just, where's my postcard now? Where's my scissors? And where's my ruler? This way I can kind of keep the things that I'm using close and then move them out of the way when we change over to the next bit. All right. Which makes things go faster. At least that's the theory, right? I think it feels scattered doing one section at a time. Yeah, I had never done it this way before, and I don't know, I'm liking it. I think it's worth doing one of them one at a time, or one or two of them one at a time, like how we did ours. You know, like we went through all of this, like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 on just this piece to start out to really learn what you're doing. And I did that for 2 pieces. I did that for both of these pieces just so we could kind of get it down and figure it out again. But once you got the process, like I needed that practice of doing them individually before we got doing this, just to wrap my brain around the process of it again. But now that it's fresh from the first day, oh, I did that already. Now that it's fresh, I feel like I can do this assembly line thing. But yeah, it would have been tough. Yes, exactly. You don't want to do the wrong thing 8 times. Exactly. So that's why I totally recommend doing like at least 1 or 2, the whole thing first, just to get comfortable with the process. But yeah, now that we've been playing around with this for a while, these last 6, it's been nice to do it this way. But yeah, did that happen to you, Ashley? Yeah, definitely. You may or may not have, or definitely did learn the hard way. Oh no, Cara. Yeah. Yeah, again, I think the thing that is the biggest thing to remember, that, I mean, for me at least, is to just make these blobs big enough for the shape and the seam allowance. And if you do that, you're most likely gonna end up fine. And put the right sides of the fabric together. You want to remember that too. The other fun thing about paper piecing, I think, is that you can actually see it develop, since the right sides are facing outward. I mean, I can see it all develop right here, you know? It's just kind of fun. That'd be my mistake. I can feel it coming. Oh, you can just feel it coming. Have you done it yet? Yeah, just do 1 first, and because the process, and watch these videos too, just to get comfortable while you're doing it, and hit pause and whatever, until the next step starts. I think it'll get easier. Oh, you just know. Funny. All right, those are all trimmed. That means we are ready for our next fabric. I got couple little pieces. Ooh, this might be way too small, but we'll see. All right, what do we got going on here? So we're gonna do the testing again. This piece, I suspect, may not be big enough, but we're gonna give it a try. So again, we'll go on that seam allowance that we just cut. Let's plop that across there. This might just be big enough. Right sides together this time, now you can see. Right sides together. All right, and this one I think I'm gonna put 2 pins in again. Let's get the pins over here. Just because this is a pretty large seam. So again, we're putting the pins along the line that we will eventually sew on, that number 4 line, in between 4 and everything else. So that's our first pretend sewing, and this is our second pretend sewing. All right, flip it up. There we go. And what we're checking for again is that we're covering all of number 4 and all of number 4's seam allowance. So let's see, how are we doing up top here? Ooh, we might be cutting it close up top. but we have a lot at the bottom here. So you know what? I'm a little nervous about right here. This is too close for comfort for me. So but I have a lot down here, so I'm gonna scooch it all up. So that's a good case right there of, you know, it was probably good that we checked that. So let's do that again. So I'm gonna scooch it all up that way. And usually, I mean, a lot of times you don't need to do this testing, but like I said, because of all these triangles and stuff, it can get, at least for me, all these angles, it can get kind of confusing. I mean, maybe you're good at all that visual stuff and, you know, you can see the reverse triangle, that's the wrong side, right side flip, and all that blah blah stuff. Looks fine if you scooch it. Yeah, I think we might be good here, so let's just do another test. Actually, you know, yeah, so I don't always do this pin test, this fake sewing test, but, you know, since we're doing the assembly line thing, it's so easy because then this is ready to go and I can plop that in a pile, so it's actually probably better that I'm doing this test for the assembly line. See, there's our test again. I got 6 pieces done and I have to tear 2 apart. Oh, well, that's not the end of the world. All right, so see, now my seam allowance is so much better. I can definitely see that this edge has enough here. You know, we're gonna get all our point in there. And how about the bottom here? Oh, we're cutting it close there, but I think we're good. So this is a nice long strip like this. I could cut more like this. This one I think may be too short. Yeah, this one is definitely too short. So let's just, maybe I'll just try and trim a few more pieces like that. We're gonna need 5 more. Got our fabric here. Ooh, I got a little piece there. Nope, that's gonna be too small. I mean, this is definitely my rough side. I think I'm gonna just cut blobs, kind of like this one. We'll use this one to measure. Hey, big scissors. So I'm gonna actually go a little wider than that, just because I wanna make sure I have enough. So we're really using up this fabric, but that's okay. That's what it's here for. I say bad words when it doesn't work out. Oh no. Yeah, I hear ya. Okay. And this one is too big. I think I'll just keep cutting it from the bottom here. So 1, 2, I'm gonna just cut across here, I think. I need 4 more out of here. This is, again, probably not the most efficient way of doing this, but it'll be okay. I'll still have plenty fabric left for all my other blocks. 1, 2, I'll cut 1 more out of here, and then 1 more. I'm gonna give all these a little press quick too, I think, because they got that fold in there. Last one. Oops, I'm a little off screen for you guys. Alright. I use this fabric a lot. Look, it's my fat quarters getting smaller and smaller. Wow, that's really vibrant. Okay. Yay, we're done with that fabric, so all my excess fabric is out of my way, which is nice. Oh, except for, nope, I still have that X that goes in the middle with the shiny stuff, so that's still laying out. Alright, I'm gonna just press these really quick, only because they got that fold going up in the middle. Just a real quick press. Love that stitchy fabric. I know, isn't this fun? I have no idea who the designer or when this fabric came out or anything. I think I got it as a blue bundle from a shop. They just put a bunch of pretty blues together in a bundle, just from all different collections and people and stuff. I thought that was kind of a cute idea. Splitting up the collections. Shrinking fat quarters, yeah. You got some of those too? Shrinking fat quarters. But again, they're getting turned into magic stuff, so that's nice. Okay, so let's see. We got this guy pinned. He's ready to sew. I am gonna still do all the testing. You know, I don't have a very good straight edge on some of these because I cut them by hand, so I am gonna just add a quick straight edge on there. This isn't quite big enough, but that's okay. Because I am matching up. I'm matching up that nice perfect seam allowance that we cut with the postcard to another straight edge, so I want to make sure that they're both straight, right? Ah, can't pick it up. All right, here we go. Along that straight edge, flip it. We'll do our little pinning. Oh man, it's getting late, people. I don't know if we'll, I don't know, I might just stay and just to sew these guys. I gotta pin all these and sew and iron them. I'd like to do all that tonight, but it's getting late. So I don't know. See where we get. Time flies when you're having fun, all right? Okay, so this is a pretty good straight edge. I'm not going to worry about it. This is a pretty large chunk of fabric, probably way bigger than I needed, but oh well. Again, I'd rather, yeah, this is huge, but it's okay. I'd rather be safe on these pieces. And again, I'm going to do like a whole like confetti sort of fabric with all my little tiny scraps. I'm saving every single scrap, even from, you know, all my tiny sewing machine bits and stuff. I'm gonna, I don't know if you saw, I did with the Be Brave embroidery, I did out of scraps, I put some Fabricelvi over a bunch of scraps and then just sewed through the whole thing and dissolved the Fabricelvi, if that makes sense. And then it kind of formed its own fabric from the scraps, and that's what I'd like to do. Oh, you like that one? Thanks, Cara. So that's kind of what I'd like to do with all my scraps from this too. So maybe there's a block, I don't know, at some point. This one I need to, it's straight enough. All right, it's totally not straight enough. Maybe there's a block that just needs like a big area, and maybe that big area I'll make some of that fabric out of all my scraps here. There, so just getting a little better straight edge since I did cut all that by hand. Match this up. Ooh, I think I skipped this one. Okay. And again, the nice thing about cutting them bigger is I don't have to think. One thing I haven't mentioned too much, and just as another reminder, you put the right sides together, which, you know, when you get paper piecing, and it's all these little things to remember, you know, that might go out the window, so remember, right sides together. Oops. But when you do this test, that will take care of that too. Yep, we're good there. Two more, and then we'll get sewing these guys. Straight edge. Yeah, again, you could totally make the exact shape with the exact seam allowance, but it's so hard to get it in the exact spot that you need. It's way, 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 way easier to just do the giant blobs and trim. So much easier. Defeats the benefit of the paper. Exactly. If you have to measure all that stuff, where's the fun in paper piecing? That's the whole, oh, you know what? I didn't test that at all, did I? I just pinned it. Yeah, seam allowance is good still. That's the beauty of paper piecing. All right, I think that's a good straight edge. Last one, and then we can sew. Just align it against that perfect seam allowance. All right. Pin along. Ooh, that is a horribly bent pin. Let's use a different one. I should just toss it. I'm sick of having bent pins around. I've been starting to throw them away. That's a life-changing magic of tidying up thing. I know we've talked about that a ton. But yeah, throw away that stuff. It ain't working and does not bring you joy. Okay, there we go. Let's get sewing. Oh, it is my Flaming Lips mix. It's playing the White Stripes right now. Spark Joy just came in the mail. Oh, cool, Janelle. I just finished that a few days ago. I just returned it actually a little while ago. Yeah, bent pins do not spark joy at all, and I don't know where that one went. Oh, here it is. Yeah, look at that piece of dumb butt right there. But yeah, the Spark Joy one was awesome. I did like that I read the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up first, but you probably don't need to. And I enjoyed Spark Joy more than I thought I was going to, because I'm like, oh, well, I read that other one. Why do I need to read this one, which is like the same thing? It was still worth it. I like both of them. They didn't stick in your feet as well. No. Yeah, all those dumb butt pins. I read the first one in one evening. Oh yeah, I mean, they're short and little, but I really did actually like the Spark Joy one. I would actually maybe buy that book. I got it from the library. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It just appeals to me, like all that stuff, like that the object is so happy that you took care of it, and you know, it's just, you know, everything in your house is the children of the house, you know. You know what? I'm gonna just keep these going. I'm not gonna trim. I'm gonna just keep going with these guys. How about that? There's some assembly line-ness for ya. But yeah, that just like personification of all the, come on, paper, get underneath there, of all the objects in your house and stuff. It's just so cute. But once, yeah, nothing is safe. You know what? I was thinking about that, but she kind of talks about that. Like, she says, like, okay, once you get good at throwing stuff away and you get excited about it and whatever, you got to remember that that's not the point. The point is to keep the stuff that you like. So if you're throwing too much stuff away, you kind of even want to slow down, just to, like, make sure you're not getting rid of, you know, the stuff for the joy stuff. So you don't want to, you know, you can get crazy throwing stuff away, but you just want to double check that you're doing, that's, you know, you're not just letting yourself go just because that's not the point. The point is to keep the joy stuff. Even though, you know, the throwing away stuff can get totally addicting and all that. But yeah, you just gotta slow down and be like, okay, wait, what's the purpose of this again? All right. There we go. How many more? We got 3 more. Paper piecing. Ouch. Oops. Whoops. Did you see that? My machine does not like, it sucks back in the thread. I forgot to hold on the thread there, so it sucked it all in. Do you sew to the edge of the paper? I'm sewing into for this one I'm on the last one. I'm on 4, so yes, I am going to sew into the seam allowance. For all the other ones, I'll turn it off so you can see. I did sew into the seam allowance, but then only to the line that it gets crossed by next. So I didn't extend beyond here, and I didn't extend beyond here. But since this is the last one, I am extending all the way into the seam allowance. And really, you don't have to extend into the seam allowance, but it's helpful to have that last little stitching in the seam allowance, I think. Then it's similar to like a normally pieced thing when you're done, versus if you just sew from the line to line. There we go. Here, pins. And again, I wouldn't need these pins here at this point, but since this is a longer piece, it's kind of helpful. The other sewing thing, again, to remember is shorten your stitch length so it makes more little perforated points in the paper. Then it becomes easier to tear off later. Last one, then we can iron, and then we're done, people. So we're not too far behind. Oh, I wanted to trim them all though too, so maybe I'll still try and trim them tonight too. So we'll go a little long tonight. I want to press and then trim. The trimming's the magic part, because All of a sudden it looks like how it's supposed to look. All your blobs get trimmed away, which is so fun. All right, I forgot about this step too. I have to snip all my little ends off. So we'll snip ends off, then press, and then trim the outside, and then be done. So yeah, we'll be a little late, but I'm glad we can get the piecing part done tonight, because I'm hopeful that we can get the other part done, the rest of it, the real piecing part of it, or the patchworky part of it done tomorrow, because the day after tomorrow is Thursday and we get a new block. So I'd like to be done before then. For once, right? The last few I've not been able to keep up with the blocks. Be nice to be able to keep up with the blocks a little. This is the one that sucked into the machine there. All right. 3 more. Have you started stitching the birds? Nope, I've not done any stitching on the birds yet. They're pressed down. They're with the wonder under. They're pressed down, so they're in place. I'm thinking that I might do. Oh, I don't think you were in yet. I think I'm gonna do a day session, a day Periscope on Saturday. I might just do a long Periscope. You know, it might be a couple hours long, really. Where I just finished the blocks that I don't have done yet, which means the birds and block 11, which is my Crocheted Thoughts one. I have a lot of embroidery left on there. I may just sit here and embroider both of those blocks until they're done. And then you know what, I was thinking in the evening, because I'll still do my Saturday evening scope. I'm thinking in the evening I might take all the Fabricelli off of the crocheted blocks, you know, dissolve it in water, that whole thing. I think that might be what we do in the evening on Saturday if I get it all done. All right, over to the iron again. So in my head that's the plan, but that still does require getting that block all the way stitched with which, you know, there's a lot to do on there yet. What time is this Saturday? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll put it on my calendar, so I'll figure that out and let you guys know in the next few days, or I'll let you know tomorrow. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Maybe around, it'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll do it even earlier. Maybe like I don't know. I'm trying to think of, should I do it earlier, like 10-ish, or should I'm just thinking that might be too early for me. Maybe noonish. Maybe I'll start noonish. I'll eat something and then do it from noon till, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't take forever and ever, but it might. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe noon. But again, I'll check my calendar and just really think about it. But yeah, I'm thinking noon probably sounds right to me, because let's say it does take like 4 hours to finish that stitching or something. Oh gosh, it might take longer than that really. So 12 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Well, then it'll be 4. Yeah, I think maybe 12. Let's do 12. And we'll get as far as we can. And if not, maybe in the evening scope, maybe we'll just have a little bit of embroidery left and we'll still be able to do the Fabricelli. But that's, in theory, the goal in my head right now. Sounds good to me. Okay, good. I was just thinking, man, I need like something completed and off of my docket, you know? And I thought that would be an area that I could do that in. Oh, here's that really skinny piece that we moved around, our first piece. Yeah, this is that one that we had to move to make sure it fit. Let's check this one. Finishing second block, working out great. Oh, awesome! That's what happens when I follow directions. Nice. Yeah. All right. See, that one turned out great. All right, 2 more, and then we'll trim these, and that will be that. People, then we can start the next one. Do you have to use the Fabricelli? Oh, no, you don't. I like using Fabricelli personally just because then I don't have to trace my design. I can just print it out from my printer, just from the computer, right out onto the Fabricelli, and then I just stick it on like a sticker. It's sticky Fabricelli. You gotta make sure that it's the sticky Fabricelli to do that. But then it just sticks on, and then I embroider right through it, and then it washes off in water. And again, the only reason I do that is because it gets rid of that tracing process completely, which is awesome, because who wants to do that? But yeah, so I've been stitching through it. It's stuck to my fabric still, and will be until I'm done with all my stitches, all the embroidery on it. But yeah, then we take it off in water. And that'd be fun to do here. Right before we move on to the next block, it'd be nice to, oh, we'll have had the Thursday block, but Sunday's block, we'll have that done before Sunday's block. Okay, woohoo, we are ready to trim. I can't wait to start the Be Brave. Oh, cool. You have to do this one first. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. We are at the final trim stage here, people. So the one thing that you want to remember for trimming is don't just use the edge of your paper as a guide. You want to use the line for the actual block piece here and do a 1/4 inch from that line, because that's going to be more accurate than going just following this line. No, I think we're good. This is speeding along. This went faster. Oh, I need a longer, you know what, I'm going to deal with it. Technically I need a longer ruler, but oh well. This, I think, went a little faster than last night, just because we're getting the system down here, I think. So it's really important to get this part accurate, because you do want your perfect 1/4 inch at this point, because this is where you know, we're going to start assembling our block as we normally would. So we need our seam allowances to be, you know, just perfect. So again, we're using this line as our guide. So again, 1/4 inch. This is where all the blobs don't become blobs anymore. And once we take the paper off, which we won't do until we have it assembled, at least the first smaller blocks pieces assembled, then you'll be able to see all the perfect seam allowances that came from using that postcard technique. There. Super duper perfect! But yeah, see, so you can kind of peek at the perfect seam allowance stuck in there, and you know, once we take the paper off, you'll be able to see them all. Oops, but here we go. Let's start stacking these. So this is template B. Let's put all the template B's together and the template A's together, just so we start to get those organized. So you're just finishing up the trimming tonight, right? Yep, then the center strips tomorrow. Yep, I'm not doing that tonight anymore. This is what the center strips will be. Let's lay them all on top of there. There, it'll be kind of like that. There we go. So yep, I am just trimming tomorrow night. I'm hoping, you know, I'm hoping that we can finish the whole rest of the block tomorrow night. In my head, that seems like a doable proposition, but you know, once we get going on all this piecing, it's always like, oh wow, it's already late. So I am cutting, you know, tiny slivers of paper off, because I am using that 1/4 inch as a guide, not the paper as a guide. Just because I want it to be extra exact. Alright, our blobs turn into perfect shape again. That's a block A, so we just gotta cut 4 more and then we are done. Ooh, this looks like it came close. We'll see what that looks like when we're done here. Again, on that 1/4 inch line. Alright, and these rubber grips on the ruler have been so nice. My ruler doesn't slip at all anymore. And like I said, it's just been making me way more confident in my cutting. Even though I still don't talk while I cut. At least, not so much. freaks me out too much. All right. Zoop. This is another A piece. Oh wait, I have 3 more pieces here. I thought I just said 3 last time, or 4. Oh wait, I do have 4. Never mind. Going crazy. Okay, I have 3 more left, including this one. And then we are done with the paper piecing part of this. So yeah, I mean, I personally, again, feel like it's so relaxing to not have to measure these things. You just cut these big enough blobs by eye, you know, I'm doing it with the scissors, and then, you know, you just sew along the line. I don't have to worry about my scant 1/4 inch or any of that anymore, and they turn out more perfect than any piecing could do on its own, you know what I mean? Template B. I kind of love it. All right, right on the line. All right. Couple more and we're done. Thanks for sticking with me a little late. Oh yeah, we're quite a bit later now. Sorry guys. It'll be good. We'll get this done though. It's nice to wrap things up. I can put everything away then, which is nice too. And we're down to just our green fabric. I always like paper piecing with blobs. Oh yeah, the blobs are the way to be, that's for sure. That's template A. Last one here, okay. Yeah, and I would definitely do this assembly way version again. I mean, you can't always do this. I mean, this block just happens to have 8 of the same, basically, piece in it. I mean, a lot of paper piecing is, you know, every piece is different. So, I mean, you couldn't really do assembly line that way. But for this particular block, it works out fine. It works out great for this block because there's so much repetitiveness in these pieces. All right, last cut, and then we can kind of let's pretend we're laying this thing out then too. Just quick before we call it. All right. So let's just that's a B block. Let's pretend this is our. Let's make a little 6-inch piece like that. All right. Okay, so we got our A pieces and our B pieces. Let's see. I think that looks right. Oops. Then another A piece. So we're going to be making squares like this, and then when the squares, all the 4 squares go together, we'll have like this crazy piece like this. A, B. This is the part where it gets a little confusing, but we're starting to see something though, so that's exciting. I haven't really seen what this might look like yet. Oh wait, why do I have so many pieces? Where did I leave off? I don't know. Ah, I'm all confused now. Nope, that doesn't go there. There we go. All right, and yeah, that goes there. Confusing myself. All right, so it will look something like that with a little bit bigger green, I think. Cool! I think I might play with, you know, we got some of this cool grassy stuff here. I'll probably mix that up a hair. But yay, so we're close here, people. Like, it's starting to look like something now. Wow, you can really see this other square happening. That's kind of cool, right? I don't know if I really even noticed that before. Oh, I think oh yeah, no, that's right. Like that kind of funny, that diagonal square. Yep, you know what? I think I do like this green now. I wasn't sure about the green, but yay, I think it's pretty fun. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around. Yay, thanks so much. Hey there, guys. So thanks again for staying a little late with me. We got it closer, so all we have to do tomorrow night is do those little we have to cut still. We have to cut those little green strips, sew our little 4 things together, and then the 4 patch, and then we're done. So let's hope we can get that all done tomorrow, so we're on track with this block. But that was fun. So that was it for paper piecing. Again, you can see all this on Catch. It's katch.me/penguinandfish. If you want to watch the replay. Thanks so much, guys. You guys are the best. Yeah. Thanks again. I'll see you here again at 9:30 p.m. Central. And yeah, I think we'll do that special Saturday marathon sort of stitching event. Well, all right. Good night. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.